Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth.
Welcome to another edition of Coach Connection. Today I want to talk to you about, Welcome to another edition of Coach Connection. Today I want to introduce you to a young man that's going to tell you how sports has impacted his life so much that his business is now connecting professional athletes back to the communities that they come from. Think about that. A brother connecting professional athletes back to the community they come from. Man, how do you think about that?
To be honest, man, I mean.
Well, first, I'm sorry. Tell us your name, man, because I'm so excited. Tell us your name and tell them.
All right. So my name is Romello West. I'm a 25-year-old, driven person. I'm just, I'm ready to create change. I want to be a part of change, and so.
All right, brother. So now, where you from?
I'm from Southeast DC, born and raised. Southeast Ward 8 to be exact.
Now I know you know that the Washington athletic or Washington teams have changed their names and things, but besides the names, man, how has sport had an impact on your life?
Personally, I mean, I want to say eat, sleep, and sports. You know what I mean? That's just what because growing up, I want to say sports was a big part of my household just to start with. I had two older brothers that were really, really, really good in sports. And, they played for, the Woodland Tigers. They played for Marshall Heights Bisons, Metro Bengals. Those are like three of the, the organizations that my brothers played for. And, just to see every Saturday morning we get up, and it's football, all day long. And it was just a big part of, the things that made me happy, made my family happy. And, that was that. But personally, sports for me, it was a point in time in my life where I was really down. I was really, I want to say depressed or, whatever you want to call it. And I used basketball, and it was just basically playing basketball on the blacktop with my friends. And that's literally what helped me, through my depression. So sports, I look at it as like, sports is not only a game, but it's a life changer. It's therapy. You know what I mean? So that's what sports mean to me. Okay.
So who was that athlete that, as a young person, you was like, yo, if I could just meet that guy,
Okay. Okay. So football-wise, that athlete for me was Sean Taylor. Unfortunately, he passed away. And then basketball, I took a really big liking to John Wall when he got drafted to the Wizards, and I think it was 2011. Because he was just like a regular. He was a kid, so and just to see a kid, take over a franchise, and stuff like that. It was big for me.
Yeah. Any other sport?
Baseball. I really liked Bryce Harper, but unfortunately he went to the Phillies, so kind of stopped liking him.
Okay.
But, baseball, Bryce Harper for sure, and then hockey is Alex Ovechkin. I mean, he's the greatest, capital, and soon to be one of the greatest players all time.
So being in Washington, D.C., where we have so many professional sports, but we had sports in schools also too.
Right.
How did you navigate all that?
So throughout high school, I played basketball in middle school. My first scholastic, sport that I played was basketball. My middle school didn't have a football team, and mind you, I grew up playing only football. So to stay active, I played basketball. My first year playing basketball was in 8th grade. I really enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I started to play more outside of school because of, the basketball season and how the season went, and seeing, the fun and, the skill that I had. So then when I got to high school,
What high school?
I went to Benjamin Banneker Academic High School. So I went there, and, while in high school, I played basketball for 3 years. And, it just, for me, I mean, throughout high school, basketball created so much, connections, like with friends, guys from other schools, people that went to my school, people that I may or may not have ever met or even had a conversation with. Basketball definitely helped me, matriculate my way through high school and even through college. It helped me build a lot of the friendships that I still have today.
So besides being an entrepreneur and a business on purpose, connecting professional athletes back to the communities they come from, what else do you do professionally?
Okay, so professionally right now, I'm with what you would call an employment specialist. And I do pretty much workforce development. So that goes from everything from building resumes to mock interviews to how to send out a professional email, even to down to literally just applying to jobs and trying to figure out how and what jobs to go after based on the experiences that you do have. I connect people to employment.
Got it. So not only are you connecting the sport athletes back to the community, you're connecting the community to their future.
Yes.
So how did you come up with this concept that the community needs those athletes that come from it? How did you come up with that?
Well, if you think about it like this, right? There's always going to be a kid who wishes that they could do something that they can't because of the situation and circumstances that they're in. Mm-hmm. Fortunately enough for me, I'm at the point now where I can do things for myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It took me a while to get to this point because as a kid, personally, I had times where, I was raised by a single mother and being in a single parent household, your parents can't always afford to take you to the game. You know what I mean? Because if they take one, they got to take everybody, and the tickets are expensive, more or less. So, just having the opportunity of trying to give the opportunity to a kid to be able to at least meet a professional athlete, maybe somebody that they really, really like, and it can, put a spark in one kid, if not everybody, it can put at least a spark in one to let them know that this is realistic, the things that they want is close, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's real talk.
That's literally why I do it. That's why I do it.
Yeah, and with Washington having so many different professional athletic companies, because they are companies, and the impact. So you said it. Mom had some amazing young men, and what are your brothers doing? That because you said they played sports. What are they? What else are they? What are they doing now?
So I have a brother now who my oldest brother who pretty much led the way as far as sports. One of the fastest kids to ever run, in the city. He's currently on staff at Ballou Senior High School. He's also the track coach for Ballou Senior High School, and he also has his own nonprofit, which is called OTA, Obligated to Achieve, which is, basically like a professional development nonprofit as well. He's, taking kids, teaching them what not to do and what to do, and then he's also, does a lot of workshops with a bunch of other professionals where they come in and, do different things for the kids.
Okay. Yeah.
And
right.
Okay, and then my other brother now, he was, really good with his hands. He makes music. And he does construction right now, so he's a part of the building process.
Got it. A community wrapped around sports and wrapped around being their best self now. Is there anything that you would like to say to encourage those professional athletes that are watching this or those coaches so that we can bridge that gap to help our young persons?
One thing I can say, if you have the opportunity, I know that being a professional athlete is really strenuous. It's more strenuous than we see. But if you have the opportunity to give back, I tell you that do it for your own good, not because you have to, or not because the team tells you to, but do it for your own good because you get a sense of fulfillment out of it, and then also you are literally changing the lives of kids who may not ever get a chance. So.
Great. It's nothing like being an example, especially an example that someone else can touch. Reach back to the community that you come from, if it's in DC or not. It is important for us to be that bridge. And thank you for creating that bridge for our community. You've watched another edition of Coach Connection. Thank you again for tuning in.
Coach's Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth. This show has been brought to you by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network, SASN.TV.